Thrall is universally praised as the best warchief the Horde ever had. In this video, I wanna explore his greatest mistake in my eyes that makes him guilty, just as Garrosh was during his trial in Pandaria. Don't get me wrong, Thrall, as a warchief, did many amazing things. Like, he not just helped the Horde regain its autonomy after the incredible loss during Second War. Also, he led the Horde reform, get new races to join their ranks, for example. He was there to ensure the Horde is stable and will continue to grow as a family with certain traditions, opinions, values, such as honor, justice, and so on. After saying this, it feels like I am exaggerating that Thrall made any mistakes. He tried his best to help his race to finally find a place to build their capital city. But his mistake wasn't even brought up yet. It very much deals with his view of Gromma's Hellscream and later on his son Garrosh. Grom helped Thrall find himself, but he was reckless. He was filled with bloodthirst and thirst for combat, yet Thrall didn't do anything about it. But how could he? In the end, this problem fixed itself, because Grom sacrificed his life against Manorath. Grom was also the first to drink Manorath's blood, and was the last one, and he was the one that saved orcs from demon slavery. But the tale continues with his son. Thrall showed Garrosh who his father was. He told him about his feats and accomplishments. Meanwhile, Garrosh's inner warrior started waking up. He even wanted to lead the army in Northrend against Lich King, and so he became overlord of the Warsong offensive, main leader of Horde forces in Northrend alongside Zarfang. As leader on the battlefield, Garrosh did extremely well. But when it comes to political stuff, it wasn't as good as Thrall hoped it will be. Garrosh constantly attacked Alliance, not just by words, but he wasn't holding back with weapons as well. He had some traits just like his father: aggressive nature, hunger for battle, and you could even say that he believed in orcs' superiority. Battling without the Lich King and Cataclysm, Thrall dealt with difficult decision to continue act as a warchief or step up and learn more about shamanism, as coming conflict is within Azeroth itself. He did a grave mistake by putting the most reckless warmonger as warchief. He saw how he acts against Alliance during Wrath of the Lich King, but he still continued with his decision. Garrosh even told Thrall that he knows much about war and tactics and little of politics, but Thrall ensured that his advisors will aid him. After failed peaceful meeting between Thorin and Night Owls was disrupted by Twilight's Hammer acting as Horde agents. Cairn accused Garrosh of ruining that said meeting, yet Garrosh told Cairn if that would be the case, he would announce it to the world. One of the three main advisors, Cairn Boudhu, wasn't pleased with that answer, and told Garrosh that he isn't fit to rule the Horde, and challenged him to Magura. During this Magura, Garrosh won thanks to Magata. He saw that victory as a disgrace and dishonorable, because Magata, in place of blessing his weapon, she poisoned it, and one single blow was enough to kill the old Thorin. Another Thrall's advisor, Vol'jin, didn't help Garrosh much better than Cairn. But to be fair, this one is Garrosh's fault, as he moved out majority of non-orc races from Surtr on Grimmar because he believed that only orcs are strong enough to defend the capital. That is main reason of dispute between Darkspear Chieftain and the Warchief, who treated the Warchief with killing him for his thirst for war. Last advisor, who was still at Garrosh's side, but was the only orc advisor Thrall had, and that was Eitri. Unfortunately, Garrosh disregarded any advisors Eitri had. The reason for that could be how other advisors treated him, although the reason could also be that Garrosh just didn't like his advices. Garrosh then decided to lead in a way he knows, by war. Most of the Horde disagreed, and thus later on he was more and more radical in his ways, throwing mana bomb on Terramore, enslaving Pandaren, trying to control Shah, and later on even trying to make his own soldiers through similar means as Mogu did, and so much more. Thrall's choice was depending on who could be strong enough to lead the Horde. His main choice was Dranosh, Sarfen, who had good ties with the Alliance, although he met his ancestors after Lightscan Citadel. Another good choice was Ger, but he was old. And lastly, there was Garrosh, who was chosen only because of his deeds in Northrend. As we covered earlier, that was not a good idea, and because of that, Thrall takes the blame for what Garrosh did. Thrall could have chosen Vol'jin, but at that time he didn't even consider that he could be a strong leader to lead the whole Horde. After what happened in Mists of Pandaria, Garrosh felt aggrieved after he was standing in the trial and succeeded by Vol'jin. The reason for that, it was Thrall's choice to put him there, and Garrosh did his best to make Horde great again. Now let's break down the grand finale cinematic where Thrall defeated Garrosh in the Mak'gora.
Must answer for your crimes, Garrosh.
Thrall and Azeroth heroes saw Garrosh as war criminal who did numerous war crimes from Alliance and Horde war. It mostly goes into what he did in Cataclysm and then in Mist of Pandaria. But during Cataclysm, Thrall didn't do anything about it. He just started doing things at Mist of Pandaria. And even there, he didn't do much.
All I did for the Horde!
Garrosh tried to do everything he could do for the Horde, after he was put into a difficult situation. He even said back then, when he was chosen as Warchief, "I know a lot about war and tactics, but little of politics." I even mentioned that earlier in the video. But in the end, Thrall could have chosen anyone else, who had at least slight idea what politics are about, but he has chosen the worst person he could.
You failed the Horde!
This ties into what Garrosh said, just from Thrall's perspective, as putting complete blame on him. Garrosh in Thrall's eyes failed. He expected great from him when he made him Warchief. Unfortunately, Garrosh helped the Horde, but in a way that wasn't acceptable by majority of the said faction. He discriminated all other races, and even Garrosh could have seen the Horde as just orcs, just like the old Horde was, not with other races like Trolls, Tauren, Forsaken and such. He saw them just as a tools to accomplish his goals. And that's why they were abandoned once he accomplished his goal and made the true Horde possible.
You made me Warchief!
By saying this, Garrosh puts complete blame on Thrall. How was he so sure this won't happen? How was he so sure he was the right choice? How could Thrall understood him so badly, as we previously mentioned? Even Garrosh said that he isn't suitable. He knows little of politics. Yet Thrall chose him as Warchief in one of the most hectic times Horde and Alliance had so far. During dense situation between Horde and the Alliance, when peace treaties are more important than ever. Yet Garrosh and Sylvanas started expanding. Although Sylvanas expanding was Garrosh's goal, he wanted Sylvanas to expand on Eastern Kingdoms, but still.
You left me to pick up your pieces! You!
Thrall just left, doing his stuff, learning about more about shamanism, and even went on a date with Agra. Meanwhile, the Horde was in shambles. They needed a good political leader, and Thrall thought that Cairn, Vol'jin, and Ether would be great help, and he isn't needed anymore. But that isn't true. He needed him more than those advisors, because he actually trusted Thrall.
You failed me!
Garrosh needed Thrall to guide him, at least for a bit, before he gets to learn all the things necessary. I'm not saying that he will be suddenly this enlightened orc that suddenly stops fighting, but there is a chance that he could use different strategy to lead the Horde. It could be both war and political proficiency, but I'm getting out of topic now. Basically, I believe Thrall at least tried to help Garrosh for a bit. Then this whole disaster maybe could be prevented. Maybe it won't. But this would show that Thrall knows that Garrosh isn't the best to lead the Horde. Yeah, he's good general in a battle, but that's about it. He knows nothing about politics. He needed some guidance, and he didn't get it from Thrall. And that's why we have this disaster.
You never had the strength of a true warrior.
He could have seen what he did as an escape from difficult job to easier, to his stronger ability, we could say, and that is shamanism. Instead of leading Horde at this difficult time, I'm not saying Thrall couldn't do it, but in Garrosh's eyes, he could have just taken the easy route out and focus on his strength as shaman instead of Warchief. You could also argue that Thrall did much more difficult job by putting the Horde actually together and to escape from Eastern Kingdoms. But that isn't something Garrosh would consider, I believe.
I do not rely on strength alone, Garrosh. My power is all around you.
He isn't warrior anymore, he's shaman. He perfected his art, and because of that, he had to end his brother for putting such a shame to the Horde as a whole.
You made me what I am.
Again, Garrosh puts blame on Thrall, who he became in the end. If Thrall made a different call and chose someone else, this may have been prevented. Garrosh may act differently. After all, Garrosh is a warrior from the core. He is the one who leads the battles. He isn't the one who sits on the throne and commands what everyone should do and go on peace treaties and such.
No. You chose your own destiny.
By saying this, Thrall says to Garrosh that his own choices led him to this fate. Yet he had part to play in it as well. That is why he had to end him at the place they first met, Stones of Prophecy, or as we know from Outland, Garadar. This situation with Garrosh haunted him in the future, until he finally calms himself after talking with his mother, Raka in Shadowlands. Neither Thrall nor Garrosh were flawless characters, but it's still interesting that many see Garrosh as the bad one, while Thrall made the choice to make him Warchief, thus enabling this everything to happen. He embraced his role of a shaman, but in doing so he neglected not only the horde he created, but also his brother Garrosh. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please consider a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you are up to date with new videos I publish. And if I missed some details, or you agree, disagree, make sure to say it in the comment section. See you in the next one.